All right, match 4. The last one of the night. I've been here for all 4. I'm trucking through, and we are ready to get into Outlast and 6 Karma. And 6 Karma is a powerhouse. I mean, they were there for SCS, Mexican Pro League. Now with Outlast coming in with a couple of names by their side, we're hoping that this one might be as good as that McQueen's game, but who knows?
This one's going to be just all-out warfare, chaos, if you will. It's two teams that are very, very, very aggressive with the frag power to back it up. So this should be a kind of a head-to-head matchup. Unlike the last game, not a clash of styles. It's just going to be a clash of guns.
It's what an actual clash is supposed to be. Just basically a battle between the two. As we can talk, I talked about the names. We can talk about who are actually on these teams. With Outlast, with 6 Karma. I believe 6 Karma has not had any roster moves since XCS. I definitely would want to check that. But overall, you still have that same kind of core set. Skimzy is still there. Akibil is still there. And on the side of Outlast, you also have some good players like Kale. And, well, you'll see it in a little bit as we kind of hop up onto that roster screen. Here we are. And on the side of Outlast, I was going to mention it. Kale, Hitman, Trist. I mean, what are some names that hop out to you?
On Outlast, you have Trist, who was just on a team that kind of a notorious team over there with storms in them. Got either dropped or left. I'm not going to make assumptions on that. And he goes over to this Outlast team and kind of was a difference maker for them. Made them a little bit better in 6 Karma. I mean, Akabil and Skimzy, we saw what they could do in SCS in those quals. In SFCL calls as well. They are a very good team, and they have the gunpowder. So, I mean, there's not really much to say about it, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that is true. With 6 Karma, I think the name and the players just kind of talk for themselves. We head on over to the Batman. So we've had 3 different maps throughout the entire day. What are the odds we get a new one? Oregon needs to be banned. That's all we need is an Oregon ban. No! We're so close. Outlast. Border. Come on. Okay. Well, we are going to Oregon once again. It's how we started off the day, and it's how we're going to end it.
Yeah. How poetic is it? You finish the same way you started. It's like a full circle moment. We're right on back. But I do understand why Outlast made that ban. I mean, Border against 6 Karma would be... not going to say terrible, but, I mean, it is a map that rewards the aggression, so I can see that one going off. And, Oregon, it's kind of that middle ground, a lot of teams. It's one of those maps. It's everybody knows how to play Oregon. It's kind of a little bit of an equalizer, some would say. So, everyone's comfortable on it. So, I'm going to be expecting a close game given that map ban, but, hey, you always got to wait and see. You can't make assumptions too early.
Oh, yeah. No, we have made assumptions today. I mean, you and I made assumptions about how the Decimate game was going to go. Did not end up the way we thought it was going to go. So we'll let the games do the predicting for us, and we'll see what the results are in the end. 6 Karma, they start out on the defense. You've got Outlast on the attack. And, well, these attacking bans probably aren't going to be as crazy as last time. Those defensive bans, maybe being Solus, maybe being Valkyrie, those would be expected.
Yeah, Jackal Band coming in as well. You can already tell 6K wants to get jiggy with it. They want to run around, get up in their faces, and Outlast need to be prepared for that. And a Doke could be going out as well. Good. Gracious. This is going to be a slugfest, and I love it. It's just 2 operators that help out with that roam clear, and both of them off the board. So definitely some interesting bans. I like it. I like it a lot. This is gonna be one fun one to cast. I feel like it might be fun.
All right, you got to bring the hype down like a little bit, because I feel like you overhype it. There's no way that it will lead up to those expectations. I hope so. With a smoke ban, follow it through. No, okay, I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to get into the 6 Karma Outlast hype with the smoke ban being that final one, meaning that if you want to go for plan denial, area denial, you're going to have to bring a Tachanka or really a Goyo. I mean, those are kind of your only options, and even those really aren't super appealing. I mean, the Goyo, yeah, but no way that Tachanka is brought.
Yeah, you never know.
Attackers need to
I hope so.
locate and
I
defuse
hope so.
as many bombs as they can.
Here's another little contact we do have is an Ella shot. I assume we'll be just chilling on those T1 stairs, wreaking absolute havoc. But I mean, who needs to smoke? And you don't need to waste time. We just kill them before they even
Attackers
get
have
any.
discovered the location of a bomb.
Yeah, well, the Ella shotgun with the stendo is crazy. Like, what? Who decided that putting the stendo barrel, 50% damage increase, on the Scorpion was okay?
5 seconds to go.
All right. Well, judging of game balancing decide, maybe Pachito will show to us how crazy that could be when he brings it out later on, as Skimzy is trying to go for a little bit of a cheeky peek, but nobody spawned over there, so no crazy plays just yet. And instead it's Akabil who gets taken down small tower side, and now Skimzy follows Joe. Not a good first round for 6 Karma.
This is exactly what we expected. 3 deaths within 30 seconds and more. He wants more. He has the information, trying to bring some shots down, but not able to do it in a 3v4 already. There's still a player on the top floor trying to get aggressive. Trist holding on to his horse as best he can to try and stay alive, and Soko is just doing his best out here. And look how pressed up 6K is all over the map. They don't want to give up an inch, even though they're down to 3.
And now Soko gets the shot, takes a lot of damage, but you mentioned how fast this was going to be, and I think we're seeing it with our own eyes. Morph and Pachito are taking in another gunfight. There is one. Is Morph going to get second? Nope. Shut down where he stands, and now Pachito with the shotgun backs all the way down, knowing that, well, yes, the range on that shotgun can be pretty good. You really want to go for close range right here. Drone gets shot, and Outlast know that if they push down the freezer, death will be waiting around the corner. So instead, just drop the hatch. Ignore the stairs. Go down the hatch instead.
Yeah, and I'm a little confused why they used a nade there instead of either the 2 breach charges or an ash charge that they have to work with. That's okay. Not everyone can be perfect with their utility. Maybe they know something I don't. But a 2v2 and the game is finally slowed down a little bit. I was almost going to say, even though this game could go a max of 15 rounds, and I feel like it'll still be quicker than the last map that we had.
I mean, depends how speedy a lot of these gunfights are. If we keep seeing 2v2s with a minute 30 seconds left, then I will be inclined to believe you. With Outlast encroaching on the site, 6 Karma backed off, 1 in bunker and 1 barely inside of the site itself. This is where Outlast can actually get onto the site, maybe put down that diffuser. It depends on what Hitman does inside of this freezer. He's watching inside of the site from freezer, seeing if Pachito is gonna go for a peek or not with that shotgun. Instead, both Outlast members are waiting, utilizing the 30 seconds that they have to their greatest ability. If Pachito peeks, Hitman is a dead man at that. But Pachito peeks just a little bit too late, goes back into this corner, and B Money goes off of the diffuser. He has to stick it at this point. Hitman has to cover him, but 6 Karma are going for the kill. 1 player goes down, and Hitman cannot bring out the pistol. It is 6 Karma who win it. Low health, it doesn't even matter. They're just gonna get the finish. Maybe a little bit of BM in the end. I think we're in for that kind of match, aren't we, Joe?
Yeah, I would say so. But a great crossfire from 6K right there to really, and good timing as well on that double swing, making Hitman kind of confused on where he needed to be looking. And a good little post plant from them. A great job for them to close out that round. And if that's the pace that they're wanting to set, and they can really trust themselves to win those 2v2s towards the end of that round, they're in a good spot, because you know the aggression is going to come out in the middle of the round. Outlast was ready for it, but not in the middle of the round. They allowed 6K to get right back into the round. They get themselves the 2v2, and they play it so brilliantly, and they take the first defense because of it.
Yeah, that did not disappoint. going over to the kids' dorms area, I'm not expecting to be disappointed, as well as the Valkyrie was not banned like she was in those earlier maps, and I think if we constantly have those rounds where it is just 2v2 or 3v3, Valkyrie's power grows exponentially because there's less chances the black guy gets shot, and that information on the 1 or 2 players is so invaluable.
Yeah, and the only downside of banning that Mira is she's only very powerful on that basement site, and which is great and all, don't get me wrong, but that leaves up Solus and Valk, and it was the other, it was the other team's decision. You have first ban. It's not like you have the second ban. You for sure can dictate, you see what 6K banned. You don't have that luxury. So 6K, they throw a little wrench in there as smoke, and I promise OUTLAST has not really, it's very difficult to scrim without a smoke. You can play without it maybe every once in a while, but it's such a common operator, and it's never, I'm not gonna say never banned, because it's something that does happen kind of often when teams are prepared to play without one, but it's not something that most teams are comfortable with. And not even just that, but now you have a Solus and a Valkyrie to deal with, and that just makes pretty much every round tough for them, really. So I see 6K even just in the ban phase is looking good enough for me.
I have no idea how the player got away with their life. Soko doesn't get shot down, but Pachito doesn't have any range. Instead, they have to bring out the pistol. Probably going to try to rotate into the kitchen to try to get the revive onto Soko. It is possible, and it has to happen now, as Hitman has pushed up. Pachito holds close with that shotgun, but now Akibil goes down. It was very close to being a 3v4. Not a very good trade, but Soko gets the revived. Hitman goes down, and now B-Money has to be careful lest they go next.
Yeah, and you just see 6K just swarm to wherever OUTLAST is on the map, and they're working their way straight to site. That's what you have to do. You see where these players are, and it's such a great decision. It's something I was about to say, but they beat me to the punch. They just take site. All the players that just swarmed right there, they just go down. There's only one player on site, and OUTLAST take all the control that they need, but there is the information. Mike W goes down. Skimzy evening out the odds, but that bomb does go down while that fight goes in, and Trist with the firebolts. Skimzy down to 1 HP. So is the knock. The knock actually goes down to a gunfight, and Trist kind of by himself at the moment. Kale trying to hold the downstairs, finds the kill. A beautiful shot. A 2v2, Kale trying to hold it down best he can, but the player's position is known. Kale has the nade. This round is going to rely on him hitting it, and he hits the nade, the 1v1, but Kale does everything he needs to do to win the round. Just don't mess it up. Pachito going for the defuse. It's not going to go in. Kale clutches out the round. What a close one and a great round. And what did I say? This would be a fun one.
I do not want to knock on that play at all, because it was a very, very good play with the frag grenade underneath, the patience. Mwah. Pachito almost defused that. Pachito was milliseconds away. I don't know if we're going to get it, but look at that. Oh my. Triple zeros.
That was close.
That is a ping issue right there. Wow. Okay, well, I'm very glad we got the slow-mo. Tipping my hat to Prod for that, because I was really eager to see how close that was. And oh yes, this game is fulfilling every single checked box. Crazy plays, crazy counter diffuses, good individual plays. We're 3 rounds in. We have the potential to go 12 more rounds, and to think this would be the game that caps off the night, it's perfection.
It will be one minute. I like it. A dining defense here as well. Not really something you see often. You see teams typically go towards meeting, and 6K actually also not opting to hit back kids. And I like that they're trying to switch it up, but on this site, I mean, it fits their play style, but Akibil in the basement, I gotta know what he was doing down there. I really do.
I mean, I want to know what's happening with everything. I want to see all 5 players like all at once, especially Ag, who has been trying to go for these very eager peaks. Has actually been the opening death, I believe, in both of these rounds. So he's not gonna be the one
Not this time
in this round. But you know, Soko said it's gonna be it. Oof, almost hits the shot onto Armory, but just barely evades his vision as Outlast do look to capitalize on the fact that they have gotten the 3rd opening pick in a row, but they've only been able to get 1 round from it. And that's really what matters.
Yeah, and they're doing a good job, and 6K is actually going to start backing up here, and that's interesting because that's not something that they've been doing. They've still been contesting typically, but they've kind of backed up a little bit here, and as long as Outlast kind of finds that information that they have, they can take that upstairs control that they really need. But at one point, they're going to need to get themselves in a meeting, and they haven't decided to do that at all. They might be able to get this upstairs control, but what can they do with it if they don't have the horizontal control on that first floor?
Oh, Morph is gonna fight the Horde. He's gonna have to fight the Horde unless he backs off. He gets away with his life. Breathing barely, and now he's full health. That's the health that the dot gives you. So Morph is alive. He's away from that top floor. So instead, Outlast, they get the top floor, try to work towards the site. It takes a little bit of damage from an impact, potentially, as 6 Karma work their way towards the round victory with 2 more kills. Akibel finally puts one on the board and looking to maybe get some more, as Outlast now have to scrape together another way inside of this round. They have the vertical play. They have some utility with the ace charges and the Zofia impact, but how can they utilize them?
Yeah, and they waited a little bit too long on getting into this meeting area. They're just doing the vert, trying to peek it and everything, and they lose 2 people before they get all that control. A greatly timed stun, but B Money actually comes away with the kill. Gets traded right away. Akabeel trying to do everything that they can. The dot goes down. That's the player inside of sight. Trist taking this fight, a big fight here, but not able to come away with it. 6 Karma. Clutch out another round, and every single round it feels like coming down to the wire, but Outlast just not able to close it out.
It's a game of individual performances right now. 1v1s, I think, is kind of the name of the game. Pachito should have won that engagement with the Zofia. Yes, the shotgun does kick that hard, but it's still, you gotta hit those. And luckily, 6 Karma, they're still able to walk away with the victory. I think the composure on the site was impressive. But overall, Outlast, there's a lot of fallacies on both sides. With 6 Karma, you still have a lot of players maybe playing a little bit too aggressive, which in this case, in this entire match, isn't too bad. But I think as a team, it's something you maybe want to hold back on. And Outlast are still struggling to capitalize off of their opening kills. They've gotten one every single round, and yet they're losing in rounds. They only got 1 round. And that was because of a 1v1 that had all zeros on the diffuser. So there was less than 0.0001 second left. A 1 in a million. And otherwise, it would be 6 Karma up 3-0.
Yeah, it would be. And that'd be quite a commanding lead. Really, just 4 and oh, look at this. Look at this. It's about to come in. Oh, don't drone it. Just go for it. Why not?
Yeah, this is not the game you drone. Use the Ash charge. Use the Ash charge. Throw the blitz in, and that's it.
Come on. Go for it. The Ash charge gonna get the Mel. It better.
Here we go, baby.
Oh!
The money goes down, and Akibel can back off. They have gotten a lot more kills in these previous rounds. So now Outlast, they don't have their main player to spearhead a lot of these attacks, to pressure back these defenders. And now they're kind of stuck, Joe, because without the blitz, how can they entry into Pillar? How can they entry into Blue Bunker when the Amaro is upstairs? They don't have a hard breach, so Hitman just gets kills. Does he deserve them? Maybe, maybe not. 6 Karma gave them to him on a silver platter, and now they're the one fighting for scraps.
I think Trist is actually aware of this player. I think he saw the laser, and Still this player inside of T1. He's able to come out with the win, a 4v2. Just the odds completely shifted from 6K getting that opening pick and just not being able to do anything with it. Outlast off the back of Trist and Hitman have just turned the tables completely, and now I think they know where both of these players are, and Outlast just need to try and get in if they can to try and get the bomb down, but Kale gets smoked off of that angle, but the bomb is going to start going down. A little bit of a play to make sure. See that the player's there. Gunfight ends up getting traded. Trist gets one, but Skimzy gonna try and work it. Hitman, his third on the round, and V, Outlast fight right on back.
All right, I'm glad we saw the most threatening thing on the defense, a proxy. C4s? Smoke canisters? No way. Proxy. Throw that out, scare the attackers right off. But, I mean, Outlast did a wonderful job bouncing back from B-Money going down. Because if your blitz dies like that, you don't get the trade, you can get stuck in a rut. But like I said, it's a game of individual playmakers. And in that case, Trist, Kale, Hitman, all of them do enough to wedge their way out of that little rut that they found themselves in. And now we're tied up, going up to that dorms area. 6 Karma are still going to dedicate themselves to holding out here. Are they going to try for the peaks? Most likely. Are they going to be successful? We'll see, because I don't think we've seen a successful spawn peek yet. I think we saw it earlier on, and it was actually 6 Karma who went down.
It was. They had both go down. They had 2 very early. I think that was that first round. I think it was. But they are trying to set the tone. I like it. Outlast is kind of fighting the fire with the fire and winning some big gunfights. I mean, you said it earlier, 100% correct. It feels like it is, 1v1v1v1 all over the place, and whoever wins those fights gets to really win the round. And Skimzy once again going for an early pick, and Mike W is aware of it, might be able to get one down, but Skimzy does fall off. And Outlast doing a pretty good job at kind of limiting really that early peaks from 6K. They know exactly who they're playing against, and they do get an opening pick again. They've done pretty well with them so far at getting all these entries and getting a little bit of an advantage here. And you got to think, V, as well. With how the bans have gone with the defense, you have a Valk and a Solus and an Azami up on this map. And you'd think with all of those bans that it'd be a little defensive-sided here, at least as much as it could be.
But it's not seeming like that. Is that going to go the way of Outlaws? When we swap sides, are they going to start to gain some momentum? Pachito hiding inside. The frag grenade is going to be thrown out. It is not cooked enough. It doesn't even deal a single lick of damage to Pachito. So instead of Outlast gaining an even bigger advantage, instead they trade health. There goes another frag grenade. It is not successful. And Pachito with the angle takes out Kale. And it's a 4v4. Outlast should have had something in this engagement with Pachito, with the Valkyrie inside of Kitchen. And instead, they find themselves looking down the barrel of 6 Karma potentially gaining the lead that they once had.
Yeah, nobody really taking the security area, just allowing the Valk to take a 1v1 and isolate a pick, and Akabil does get one, I believe. That's on big window. Trist, the Capitao, going down, and they're still setting up this execute. Outlast have the control still that they need, but somebody's going to have to retake that position on the big window, and Mike W not able to find the kill. Morphed narrowly escapes with his life, and that was the opportunity. That was the moment that Outlast needed to get back into the round.
And now instead, they've just got a lot of bruised and battered players. Mike and Hitman don't have a lot of utility left. Mike still has one more EE1D scan that he can hit in these next 30 seconds. But with all the players left on the site, this is going to have to be coordinated. He doesn't get any chance to use it as he gets cut down on those white stairs. A 6 Karma just need to make sure that Hitman doesn't get the 1v3. He makes it a 1v2 with a good shot onto Pachito. But with the seconds left on the clock, there is nowhere for Hitman to go. 6 Karma. Make it a 3-2 lead. Make it at least a 3-3 half.
Yeah, and well done from them to kind of turn the tables back into their direction, shift the odds a little bit. And Outlast just not able to get into kitchen. It feels like that's really what the round needed. If they weren't able to do that, they just didn't have enough map control, and they're just walking into the guns of Six Karma. And you had the smokes for the Capitao to kind of work with for an execute, but they weren't able to do anything. And I mean, you could have had a player maybe go Kid's Window, even though they don't have the attic control. You could have, obviously they did have it, but that late flank on the main stairs. You just have to take more control than what they did. And if you are going to go with that little control, you need to try and set up some crossfires early because, for instance, that Valk should not be able to really do what she did in kitchen. But even then, if you're not going to really try and push her, don't take a 1v1 on her. Either take fully the control, get yourself into security and set up a pinch, or just leave her there. She's not going to stop you from planting the bomb. There's no rotate into security. There's nothing she can do about it. So you got to make that decision. Don't put half of everything into that clear. You have to make a decision. You have to really focus on clearing her out or just leaving her there and going for your execute. They did neither of them, and it allowed 6K to get back into the round.
Oh my goodness. Akabil is on the clash. He's been peeked from outside before, and now it seems that he has grown tired of it. He does not want to get shot, and this could be devastating for Outlast, depending on how they deal with it, or how Six Karma plays around the clash. The communication is there. There's not much Outlast could really do. Skimsy takes out B Money. I heard like 2 bullets get fired. So clearly that was a nice shot that we unfortunately did not get to see. But now Outlast, I think that is their best chance at dealing with the clash, taken off the board. They do have the refrag onto Skimsy, but losing your Zofia, how do you deal with that clash? No flashbangs, only frags at this point.
Kill the rest of the team. That's exactly how you get rid of this clash. Make the clash use her gun. Because at the moment, not really doing anything to get rid of everybody else. Pachito does take some damage. Opening up this wall, which I don't think they necessarily needed to do. They should be going for the showers instead. They do get that trade. Everything being traded out. And even though that clash is there, so it's not effectively, a 2v3, but she can provide all that information for these players to take these fights. And that information alongside the Valk cams, they have everything that they need. And Akabil with the super shorty able to find one, but that's actually the clash off the board. And B, we got a 2v2 once again.
Clash gains power the longer the round goes on, to taking her out with a minute 15. That is good for Outlast in this scenario. Frag grenade is thrown through. Bushido does get away, but doesn't get the confirm onto Kale. Depending how Morph plays this, Mike could go for the revive. He hears the Capcan going to security, fires some bullets away, but that V308 has a very large magazine and is gonna be able to get the revive. C4 is thrown out. It is taken down Kale, but Mike is able to use that. Not a bait per se, but a round win. That's what really matters, and we are 3-3, about as equal as we can be going into the second half.
Sorry, did you see where the sledge died to that C4?
Yeah, that was a little
what?
silly. Little silly. Even they're talking about it in all chat.
What? You just saw where the sledge's body ended up, and you're sitting there like, how did he die to that?
Ubisoft's most flawless game.
Siege. It happens sometimes, and you just gotta learn to live with it. Luckily, they won the round, because if I lost a round that way, I would lose my composure. It'd be done. I don't think I'd come back from it. It'd be over. Game over. 4v5. You're not getting my services anymore. But able to win out the round, and Outlast doing a pretty good job at, not necessarily on damage control, because they are getting majority of these first picks, but they've kind of struggled to really close out rounds, but they're doing enough to hang around, to keep themselves in the game. A 3-3 half with the Souls and the Valk up. Not a terrible thing here. So I'm also very shocked, as we do see a Warden. I'm pretty shocked that neither team has really opted to bring a Ying. I feel like Ying, especially on this basement defenses, is so powerful, and she's not really being brought. So something interesting, and Akabiel does get the kill as well, shifting the tides. You saw the aggression. We knew would be the spawn peaks coming out from both, but I don't think a single spawn peak has really worked outside of maybe one.
An interesting spawn peek from Laundry Stairs as well. Maybe there were some drones that Aki had, something. But still, 6 Karma gaining out, getting the kill onto Hitman, who right now is Outlast's leading fragger. It is a win every single day of the week. Right now, there's no way Trist has been accounted for. Drones are going to see it.
Oh my
I
Lord.
say that as Aki walks in, fires, 4 bullets, takes out the Soulless like it was part of her everyday chores, and walks back, assuming to go back down to the side, up 2-man.
Yeah, and Outlast have to do something to get a pick back. You cannot let a 5v3 execute come in for 6K, especially with how much time they have to work with. But with all to work with and so much to do, it provides opportunities to get those picks back, and they're able to do it. Great pick back, but the work is not done, V. The job's not finished. They still are in that man disadvantage, and 6K have the map control that they really need. Everything's starting to get opened, and they have the utility to get anything that they want. No smokes, but they have flashes and nades and Ash Charge to work with if they want to open up this wall, and not a lot of utility facing this front side anymore. And I'd be shocked if they go for this backside take, and they're actually going to hot drop the hatch, I think. 2 of them just drop. Whoa, and they just take in a sight. They're not prepared for it at all. Soko finds the second, and that leaves Kale on his own, and Soko with another one. 6K just to make such a quick play, and Outlast just not prepared for it at all.
I is just shocked. I know that this is like the entire MO of the game, but just the ability to just say, no waiting, no flashes, let's just drop the hatch, take these gunfights, and to win the round like that, as definitive as it was, it's so impressive on 6 Karma's area, especially with the fact that, you know, things didn't look too good, but they come on in, able to win it out on that site, and now they get a lead, but we haven't seen any real leads tonight. I think we have been trading rounds since round 1. So if the pattern follows, Outlast is going to come on top in this direction on the dorm site, but if there's any time to break trends at this late in the game, now would be the time to do it.
That would be the time. 100% true. And
10 seconds left.
not a great opening defense for Outlast, just because
5 seconds to
you'd like to see them kind of, you know, come out a little bit hotter right there on the entry, but not a good start. They were able to kind of shift it back. They got one pick back, but you can kind of see how 6 Karma wants to attack. They want to get really aggressive really early, and they want to execute. They want to make sure they have as many bodies for it as possible, and a good execute came in. They reacted off of their information quite well, and if that's kind of the like you said, the MO of what they're trying to do, it seems like they have a big advantage. It's not the same as how Outlast was playing on their attack. So 6K, pretty good start to their attacks, but you want to see them continue what they just did.
I think with 6 Karma's attacks, what they were due, the confidence that they play with, they for sure have the ability to get 2 rounds on the attack, something we have not seen from anything so far. Aki was dangerously close to finding something there. Yeah, Hitman needs to be careful. Never mind, ignore me. He peaks with the confidence and the swagger as ever, takes out Akibil, and resumes his position inside of Armory. Anytime you think somebody in this match is going to get a kill, or even do anything, the opposite is going to happen. That is how insane this game is.
Yeah, that's very true. Caught me off guard as well, but that's a nice little cheeky spot from Hitman. And the good thing about this with getting that kill is he's wasting so much time being in this position. They have to find out exactly where he is. They have to clear him out here. They can't just leave him here. And him being in Armory allows them to kind of continue to play inside of Trophy. And Hitman, just a great spot right now. And with a minute left, players still going down, and that's the trophy player that's able to freely play in trophy, all because Hitman is staying alive and armor in. Even though he gets taken down, the damage has been done. B-Money has gotten 2 kills off of that and a 4v2 for Outlast.
Cheeto doesn't have a lot. He only has an LMG, and Soko potentially even less. He's not even on the same floor as the bomb site. He is going to join his friend up on that second floor, trying their best at a shred of an attack. All they have really is guns, and that's really all the best they could do in this scenario. Cheeto shoots out the frost and makes sure they don't get caught in it, but Mike, hanging out on the couch, standing on top of it, catches Pachito off guard, is able to get the kill. Sako peeks, gets 1, gets 2. A nice little Ferrari. It's gonna have to be an ace for Soko. He reloads. He only has 2 mags, but then again, he only has 15 seconds to work with. Outlast plays this smart. They should win, and the double peek comes as it should. Outlast tie us up.
Got scary for a second, I'm not gonna lie, but Soko getting some damage, and you can see how much damage he can do just in certain 1v1 gunfights. But at the same time, you're seeing how hot he is right now on the shots that he's hitting. If I'm 6 Karma, put him in the position to take these opening fights. Let him take these fights for you, just because he's not great to you if he's the one sitting there watching flank, or if he's not taking as many engagements in the round, he's not the one opening it up for you. And with those 11 kills, him and Akabil together should be spearheading, because they are the guns that are hot, the guns that are smoking. And it's just a tough spot really for 6K to be in. I know that's only their second attack, but that's the adjustment I'd make. Play around your stars if you can.
I think that's good advice with how this game is going down. It's revolving a lot around who kind of pushes the game forward. If it's Soko dying first, it doesn't bode well for 6K. Hitman goes down. Outlast isn't going to have good chances throughout the round because it's just a snowball. It's what a lot of these rounds are. Whoever gets that opening pick, it eventually spirals toward the round win. The only time in this game so far, there's been 2 rounds. Round 2 and round 8, that whoever hasn't gotten the opening kill has won the game, has won the round, and both the times it was Outlast who won it. So
was Outlast 2-1, and oh, they're getting aggressive here. They're getting saucy. Pachito maybe gonna take a gunfight here. Not gonna get too aggressive though. He's not gonna overstay his welcome, but I think they realize that they have the control everywhere. Maybe not. I say that, and Akabil's slowly lurking around the map, but not a single player off of sight. All 5 anchoring, and kind of weird, because you'd think with the way that this game is played out that they'd be pushing around the map, and a minute in, the E-Box hatch is getting open, but it looks like Outlast is really going to test 6K's ability to execute. They're going to say, hey, you guys can have the map, but we want to see what you can do with it.
Hatch is open pretty early, and Akabil runs down in that freezer. Is he going to take some time to drone out? He does, so we're not seeing the lightning fast speed of just kind of ignoring everything and going for the frag. That would bode 6 Karma well in this scenario, considering how many Outlast players are alive, the coverage that they have. But eventually, Morphed and Akabil just hop on down. A great little shot there, and suddenly it's Outlast who go on top. Hitman and B-Money find one, but Soko bounces back with a kill of his own. B-Money has to be careful. He is 1 shot away from death, as Pachito is barred from entering that blue bunker. But Kale, hiding behind the shield, has all the power he needs. He can sit behind this knowing that he has everything in the world behind this shield. The frag grenades are going to go out. There are still so many to utilize, but there are also ADSs that can be used. Pachito finds one with the SMG-11. As we reach under 60 seconds, that is not enough for Outlast. They need to start wasting time or getting kills, because Pachito is going to be able to put that diffuser down and really put the pressure onto this defense. Aki does find one. backs off. He sees two and instead ends up going upstairs. There's more members on the side of Six Karma than OUTLAST, so they can use this to spread out. Maybe throw a body here and there if it comes down to wasting time. Trist is going to find the kill onto Soko. Has to back off. He's going on the diffuser, and now with Pachito there, Trist is halfway done. Akibil has to push forward. Does he get the kill? He can. Aki in freezer. Nobody saw him coming. It's not a quadruple zeros. It's more than enough time for Six Karma to work with.
He really just wrapped all the way around. That was kind of crazy. I thought he was just going to play the E-Box hatch. I saw where money got, and I was like, hey, they got to the right spot. That was kind of it. And then I thought he was just going to have to drop the hatch. He had it covered, and he wasn't able to. And a good round win, really, for them. But it got scary. I'm not going to lie. I didn't expect that to get where it was.
He really did go for the long rotate. All the way around, and Six Karma win out the round, going on to the meeting dining area. It's a little surprising that OUTLAST don't want to try that basement site again, considering how close it was at the end. I feel like that would be better than meeting dining, but they don't want to try their chances again.
No, they don't. They want to do what they can, try and win what they can, because that basement defense has not looked good for them in either of the rounds. That one was a little bit closer, but even then, that would have been a clutch. So, you know, I'm happy with the decision to be able to switch it up. They've been scrimming a lot, so they were able to make it quite early. So they've had a lot of time to really get everything sorted. But Trist, one of these players, probably the second most experienced. Or I should say, actually, I completely lied. I forgot about Hitman. You know. Been around from way back in the day, and it looks like a rush is going to come in. The castle barricade goes down. Trist all alone in sight goes down, and so much control for Six Karma. They have T1 as well. I don't think Benji's going to understand that he's there, and Akabil does get that kill, and the bomb's going to be able to go down whenever they want it to. But Mike W finds a kill through the wall, and Kale going to have to try and find another one. A big gunfight here if he can probably try to win this. And he's not able to do it. Akabil, that might as well seal up the round. Hitman in a bad spot, but not able to find the kill. Mike gonna try and flank, but he shoots a little too early, finds the kill anyways. A 2v3. Hitman coming back to try and help his team out. He finds the first one. Akabil in a bad spot, and Mike W finds another one. It's a 1v2 out of nowhere. Pachito on his own, watching the wrong angle, but he flicks to him. It's a 1v1. The post plant, 17 seconds, not much time. The clock ticking down, 15 seconds. Info on the case. Hitman gonna have to try and pull off some magic. No information. He can't get the bomb. Gets it too late, and Pachito, a beautiful way to play it, but that got scary for 6K.
It did, but it was a bold play to say, you know what? Let's just go for the rush. That could have been aided by the fact that they had drones. Drones, have to say, knew that there was only one player, that the coverage from OUTLAST was not there, and it killed it. Nice replay, seeing how it started out. Mike had a wonderful shot here with Hitman. The combined power of these two was almost enough. But Pachito being on one health, just so close for OUTLAST to getting that back, making it a 5v5, guaranteeing max regulation, but instead they will now have to win 2 in a row. This has only happened once. It's what we have just seen. Six Karma, they go up, and now all they have to do is attack this dorm site. It hasn't been great for them in the past. The one time we've been here, it was an OUTLAST victory, but the thing is, for Six Karma, they do have a round to get. So
They have a lot of time. Kids, they were so close to winning this site twice. Maybe not the second time. Maybe not the second time, because you know. But I mean, it's just, or at least the first time. They've only attacked us once. I'm not okay. That's all good. They just weren't able to clear out Hitman in that round. Left Soko in that 1v4. Oh, it almost produced some magic. We're not gonna lie there. He could have pulled something special off, and I think Trist might be stuck on this rotate, but they're not gonna do anything with it. And Akabil B, he's starting to catch fire.
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
Oh, absolutely. Early on, he wasn't doing too much, but as the game has went on, surprisingly, he is now the top fragger. You would not have expected that early on. Him and Soko, who I think, early on in the first 5 rounds, they both were the entry death twice. And you look at that and you're like, okay, so clearly they're not doing well. No, Aki and Soko in these pivotal rounds have gotten a major amount of kills. And you can always rely on them to get something done. Soko with these Rotero drones are going to be able to blow up the Kiba barriers, which always have to be destroyed. There's always another Kiba barrier to destroy.
I think I see where this is going with the Amaru. I've seen this happen before, the Ying going through kids' window, and the Asami, it's nice because it does keep certain angles good, and I'm wondering where this Amaru's going to go, but you do see a player S2 and that top small, and Trist, a nice shot on one below, but the execute coming in, the Amaru goes in, and just everyone cut down so quickly. 3 kills out of nowhere in 6K. 2v5, face down inside of sight. A tough spot, not the best execute we've seen all day.
Yeah, no, we have seen better from these two teams as Mort and Skimzy try their hand at something that is statistically a very low chance at happening. Mort is going to deploy some air jabs inside the site, maybe catch a player or two off guard just to get some level of edge back into this round because, I mean, it's a 5v2. OUTLAST can throw a couple bodies at the wall just to try to get a kill, maybe chip away at some health. And as Skimzy heads up the white stairs, he's unaware that there's a player behind him, now a player in front of him, and it's a flawless for OUTLAST. A good comeback after a very, very close previous round. They needed that little boost heading into the last round of regulation.
Yeah, big win from them, but that's really the only site that they've looked good on at all. The other 2 sites that they've played, those other 3 rounds, are their 3 losses. So that's kind of the only site that they've looked comfortable on, but they're going to have to win another one of the sites that they've struggled on so far if they want to get back into it. And they are going to go basement for that 3rd time.
Attackers
And
need to locate and defuse as many bombs
they got to
as
make it.
can.
They got to make something happen.
I feel like it would be fitting for OUTLAST to lose this because it has been repetition, but it also feels fitting for them to win this and for us to go into overtime. This game has just been a possibility machine, and everything that seems possible will come true. I love seeing the excitement from these games because this game has been excruciatingly fun. Like, seeing all of these players in all of these rounds, nothing has really been slow. I mean, maybe last round was like the only round that really didn't produce anything overall. And that's how you know that this has been an amazing match. And I feel like it cannot be destined to end right here.
They forgot a shotgun. There are no rotates in sight. Not a single one. I mean, the adjustment's coming in, but the only problem is when you make that adjustment that it's not your strat. Trist does find one, but instantly trade. I'm not really sure where Hitman was trying to go right there, but 4v4 early. Trist is kind of locked on this side of the map, but can start to get out. And Benji Moolah in meeting right now to try and hold off this push best he can. Has a couple of gunfights to go with him. He's going to fall off towards the kitchen side, and OUTLAST doing a decent job. Better than what they've had previously on this site. So, upgrades, people, upgrades.
And you take anything at this point when some of the previous defenses for OUTLAST has been hit or miss per se. But the problem in this round is you do lose Hitman. You still got Benji. So, it is a positive, and you do trade Soko out. But 6 Karma still have Ak. And that is a player that you cannot mess with. And he will, I believe he's over by that freezer area. Walk down as Pachito aims in at a player. Does he know it? He might not even need to, as Triss peeks the hallway, goes down to Pachito, and now means that 6 Karma does have the man advantage. It might not be for long, as Benji on the white stairs is droned out right before Pachito peeks, potentially saving his life and keeping 6 Karma into this round. As Mike W on the pillar may hold the key to this round. Outlast cannot give a body, Joe, because if they do, it might be curtains.
Yeah. Curtains is definitely right, but here's the thing. They're actually going to choose to push Benji upstairs instead of hitting the site. He does get traded, but he takes one down with him. Maybe not the best decision. They do lose one instead of taking their 4v2 onto site, but not the worst case scenario that we could have possibly seen. And Akabeel, the difference maker that they've had. Let's see if he can be the one to close out the game. Mike W. Kale, hold the hopes of Outlast high, and still taking slow. Time is ticking down. 30 seconds left, and just not a lot of action going in as we see this freezer push still taking a little bit of time. But Akabeel, you see him sneaking up on the locker, and it's going to believe that was a Capgun trap in 15 seconds, V. There's just not a lot of time left. They're taking so long to do this into the dying moments. Freezer controls there, but Kale has it, and Mike W has the E-box drop. One did drop. He's able to find the kill. The last 2 are freezer. Akabeel finds one, and he finds the wall bang. He finds the wall bang. He ends up clutching the round. The odds not in the favor, but I can't believe that just happened. 6 Karma win the game off of that.
Off of the wall bang. Chaos. We described this entire match as pure chaos, and it ending in such a fashion like that. Mwah. Chef's kiss. 6 Karma avoid overtime off of a massive play from Akabeel. The 2K at the end. 6 Karma avoid overtime and take the first round win over Outlast.
That was insane. What a game, though. So many close rounds, and it had to be Akabeel, right? It had to be. The dude was on an absolute burner, and it had to be him if the game was going to be ended. He took it into his own hands, and still a good performance from Outlast. You know, a lot to take away from with this game, but just the gunplay was just not enough. Akabeel just started turning up, and there just wasn't a player on Outlast that I think really took the reins off of that. Akabeel got hot. Nobody on Outlast was really there to counter it. And it was the difference maker. No star stepped up for Outlast when they needed him to.
Man, look at all these clutches. All the 1v. I'm excited to see the stats and how many 1vx's. Because, like, we just saw one. Akabeel right here. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I think that is the best thing that we could have ended the first day of SFCL Season 6 on.
Yeah, I mean, that round, though, I'm not going to lie. I don't want to be the guy to say this. I am a caster. I can't be the one to criticize too much. But I believe it was Mike W that died at the end. All he had to do was hide. With that much time left, all he had to do was hit the deck, stay tarps, don't peek, don't run out, don't come close. And he gets wall banged. Obviously the most unlucky way to lose a game.
Yeah, no,
but, I mean,
it's
hits the deck tarps. That's not a situation we're even in, and I'm kind of at a loss for words, but it's kind of the game that we expected to see from them.
And it delivered. I said that you maybe needed to lower the hype a little bit because expectations that met expectation. Like, I am so excited that match was the way it was. Every run, heart pumping, clutches. We'll get to see that in some of the stats later because like I said, I really do want to see it. And it feels like every single player on both sides, even though you said Outlast did not have like star player, they still performed. Like there were players that still put up these numbers.
Yeah, I think everybody put up the numbers. They spread the wealth for sure, but the problem is with that is there's just no one really to counter Akabeel right there. You know, like you need one person to really step up or take the 2v1 on him. You can't just rely on people who are all doing well, don't get me wrong, but there was nobody who really stood out from them to be able to counter him. And I mean, you look at that 18-8, and a majority of those were when he was on the knock. And you look at the stats from Outlast, like I said, all of them performed pretty well. There's no one that really did bad. There's no one that did that amazing, but there was just no star power from them to really counter what Akabil was doing. And that to me was the difference maker for them.
So if Akibel gets rid of those first 2 rounds where he basically dies off of the spawn peaks, he is 18-6, 3-2. Akibel in this game was brutal. Not only did he get 2 1vx's, he had 75% KOST. I think that is potentially a performance of the season in the first round. I definitely want to highlight, like I said, that everybody put up numbers, and I'm doubling down on that. Even Skimzy, who went 5-11, we saw what he was able to do in a lot of these runs. He has 58% KOST. Kale had that 1vx. Everybody did their part. A beautiful game to watch.
Yeah, it was a beautiful game to watch, but when you have 2 teams that have that similar play style, you figure that's the game we're going to get. And Outlast, it wasn't enough at the end of the day. They weren't able to win any site that wasn't kids. So it's a little tough, but we do have an interview ready to go with the coach of Six Karma, Olimpo, here to give us a little bit of insight. Olimpo, that game, I gotta know, how loud did it get in the comms when Akabil clutched that last round?
I mean, it was very loud, so we hype a lot. So thankfully, Akibel made it. Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta say, it's kind of your play style, and I feel like every game that I watch you guys play, you make the pace yours. I feel like you make the game yours. Is that something you really go over? Do you try to get other teams to play the way that you guys want to?
I mean, with the new players like Pechito and Soko, we are able to switch from very different play styles. So we are ready to go. We are ready to make the other team make the mistakes, that we want. So I think we try to make the other teams play to our pace.
Yeah, definitely. One thing you do have those 2 players. So what was it like? Because I mean, you didn't really have necessarily a bajillion years to do it. You didn't have a ton of time, but how did you kind of ease them into your system? And then how did you kind of implement that system? How did you make, how did you kind of make that change to be like, all right, we're not just going to be aggressive all the time. We want to be able to kind of slow it down and play with each other, play that kind of structured siege.
I mean, we are playing a lot, screaming a lot with very good teams that make us learn a lot from us, from the teamwork that we put in the game. Rick is also the head coach, and he helped us a lot. Physics also help us a lot with see the mistakes that we have and try to fix them very quickly. So the players are also very good, learn everything quickly. All the strats that we have are super for their playstyles and their restraints. So we are really trying to do our best on the league, on the every tournament that we play. So we trying to make it all the way home.
Yeah, and the last question for me, I really enjoy seeing you guys play, in SCS, in SFCL, because the way that, for me as an outside eye, it looks like that you guys are trying to get a different dimension of your game. You want to be able to kind of get practice. Well, I mean, obviously you scrim against a lot of NA teams, but on game day, you want to kind of get a different feel of what you're doing, maybe teams that you're not used to playing, styles that you're not used to playing. So do you have any words for the rest of the teams that are out there in SFCL?
That the other teams to bring the best, because we are trying to win this tournament. So we are going to do our best for every single match. So thanks also for the interview, for the cast. It's pretty good. We try to watch after the game to learn and see all mistakes. So we are happy to be here.
All right, thanks, man, and good luck to you guys throughout the rest of the way. Nice win, and once again, just good luck.
Yeah, thank you, man.
And it is really hard not to root for Six Karma. You just feel like they got so much heart behind them. And he said he was gunning for the entire tournament. And based off what we see tonight, they have that aggression. They have that mechanical skill. Maybe they got it in them, Joe.
Yeah, it was really nice to see once again, like they had that different, aspect of their game. We're kind of used to just seeing them just not necessarily just sprint to teams, but get really aggressive, get up in your face. That's the play style. That's what you expect basically every round. And it was really nice to see them be able to slow it down, even on their defenses, especially on their attacks, though, because I think to me it's harder on attacks to really come up with a good execute at the end of the round. And a lot of the times they made good decisions really off of those when, in those 3v3s, those 2v2s, when they had the man advantage. The one thing that they really struggled with that I think was kind of the reason that this game was so close was the entry battle. They lost it by a considerable margin. If I'm doing my math right, to my left, they lost the entry battle by 2. So, nothing crazy, but it's just, it is 2 rounds, and that's a big difference. And a lot of the rounds they were fighting back from a man down situation. So, if they could do better to kind of clean up, not giving away man advantage so much and playing into themselves, it's a tough team, because that's the other thing. You see that they have that kind of the ability to slow it down, and it leaves that unpredictability. And now you don't know exactly what they're going to be doing, and that makes it really tough to play against.
So both of these teams, they showcased off what they have, and Six Karma, they clean it out in the end, avoiding overtime. But that is it for day 1 of SFCL. We have seen half the teams on the docket, who's won, who's lost, and we have more SFCL action coming this week. Make sure you tuned in tomorrow to see the second half of the teams, including Aerial Rise Academy, Lycus Empire, Aerial Rise, everybody's favorite T3, T2 teams. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. It's been a blast. And Joe, any final words before we part tonight?
Dude, I'm just excited to cast all the games tomorrow. It's nice. I get to cast basically every team, get an early look, and just seeing all these teams, their work paying off. Finally seeing them on game day. It's awesome to see it. I'm very excited to keep it going.
I agree with you 100%. That is it for tonight, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Accordingly, Mustangs are your fall major East champions.
Up against Wichita Southeast here in this final best of 3 round. The winner takes it all the way to nationals, opportunity at a shot of some of the scholarship prizing.